Okay, so today I'm going to touch on content, and I'm going to share with you how I use content to build brand, to build goodwill, to get traffic, and all this good stuff, right? So that you can actually model how I use content. But before we touch on that, to share with you the tactics behind using content, I want to share with you that it's critical for you to produce content, to create content, regardless of whether you are a product creator, whether you want to be a product creator, or whether you just want to focus on affiliate marketing. It's a must, right? Because in today's time, you have to start exploring content marketing, not in terms of fluffy theories that put out content, blog about it, not about that, but how to actually use content that can actually help you to build your business. So let's evaluate from this perspective. As what I mentioned to you earlier, even though if you're an affiliate marketer, you will still need to produce content. Why? Because content is what going to set you apart, build your brand, and perhaps it can even help you to get traffic. So if you don't have content, you don't have anything that's unique. So make it a must. Do not try to avoid from producing content. Now, when it comes to producing content, there are many ways for you to go around. This is not a content creation training here right now. I mean, we cover about content creation in my other courses, in my other programs. But when it comes to content, you can create content very quickly without spending too much time to create them by using like private label rights content. You can produce short reports, but the easiest way of creating content is doing a video, right? Like for instance, this is a video. This is a form of content. And you don't have to do a video like this where you're looking at the screen. You can always create video with PowerPoint, narration, types of video. But let's touch a bit about private label rights today. So how do you actually use private label rights successfully? So what most people do is they buy private label rights, they then put their names on it, and then they start using the private label rights. Now, by the way, private label rights basically means is that content that you have acquired, that is where you have the license to call it your own product and you can edit it any way you like. So which means that you can turn a private label rights content into your own content. I mean, you can put like your name on it and you can put like, a Roy Rockman. You can put your name there and call it your product, that you are the creator of the product. But the right way of doing this is not to take the content and put your name on it. The right way of using private label rights content is to use that as the foundation, the fundamental of what content that you want to produce. For instance, if I was to use private label rights, it's very rare that I use as it is, unless this content has been reviewed and I find that they are highly valuable. Otherwise, I will never just take the content and put my name on it, right? Because it's private label rights content. They are not that accurate. But what you can do is that you can use that as the foundation. So what do I mean by the foundation? Okay, let's say you want to create content about list building. I'm going back into the internet marketing niche. So you should be doing list building in the first place before you wanted to share about list building, right? I mean, that is like the whole logic behind that, right? You should only teach something where you are doing it yourself. Even though you have mediocre results, you have little results, that's okay, so long that you have results and you do what you're teaching. That's my basic advice, basic principles that I share with my students and my clients, that you got to do it, right? So let's go back to here. So let's say you have a piece of content about how to build your mailing list, okay? And you put out like an opt-in page, you drive some traffic, you have some subscribers and so on. So now you want to produce a content to teach people how to do that or how to do list building. Now, instead of you writing everything from scratch, like, what is list building, what is the processes and so on, you can take a private label rights content where it has the so-called the basic of it, all the information that you need, all the tips, the ideas, and then you combine with your own few pages of sharing about how you do it. You see the difference? So now this content that you have created, it is now unique. Because it has your own case study in the content. So the keyword here is case study. What people want to see are case studies, like things that has been proven, things that are real, because people are very jaded, especially in this industry of everyone labeling themselves as experts. So that's a form of producing content in a very quick manner in that sense, all right? But if you're okay to produce your own content, that would be preferable, and you do not need to use any private label rights, okay? Now, what I want to share with you today, it's called content repurpose. So what I want to share with you is content repurpose, and I want to walk you behind how I use content in my business. And just to make it clear that the way how I run my coaching program is that I teach what I do. So everything that you see are strategies, methods, tactics that I am doing. So my business is not about like teaching, so to speak. My business is actually doing what I teach. I mean, I'm all into the whole internet marketing world. So this is exactly what I do. So what is content repurpose? Content repurpose is basically the concept of how we produce one piece of content, and the same piece of content can be used multiple times for multiple purposes. And with that, you get to leverage to the maximum. So if you understand today's training on content repurpose, you'll see that it's going to be worthwhile for you to produce your own content. You see, most people never produce content simply because they don't understand the concept of content repurpose or how to actually apply content repurpose. So to them, if I write an article or I create a video, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put it onto YouTube and that's about it. So what if I don't get any traffic? It's going to be a waste of half a day to produce this piece of content. So if you understand content repurpose, you'll be able to repurpose this piece of same content, and that helps you to so-called save your time, because now the same half an hour that you spend on can now help you to get traffic, can help you to build your brand, can help you to even build your business, right? Now, you may more or less understand this concept or have even heard about this method from other real experts or experts. I mean, they could call it content, whatever it is, content recycling and so on. And you may sort of understand the simplicity about it. But what if I'm going to show you exactly how I do it so that you can understand how to repurpose your content later on, all right? Okay, so I'm going to show you two ways of how I use content. The first one is I'm going to share with you how I use text, T-E-X-T, a piece of written content. And then later on, I'll show you how I use video content. And I'm very sure that you'll be very excited when you understand the game, how to use content. All right, so the first one I'll share with you is how I use a piece of article. So when you create your piece of content, the first thing is that you got to know what is your main objective. So let me just write down the notes here. The first core goal is you got to know what is your main objective. So this main objective, right, is to drive traffic, to get traffic, or should I say expose my brand. Okay, so this is the main objective. Remember, you gotta have a main objective when you create the content, and then the rest of the content repurpose or what you use with it, right? It's like the by the way, what you can do with this same piece of content. So the first thing I do is that what I'm doing here right now is I am using some sort of social media marketing, all right, but in a very basic, non-advanced type of social media marketing. And one of the social media marketing that I shared a video that I released inside Foresight with Patric. If you're not there, you should check it out and join that group called Foresight. Is that I share about the concept of how you use social media like Facebook and Twitter to get joint venture partners, to build relationships and so on. And the other thing that you can do right now is to tap on Facebook groups, right? And when it comes to Facebook groups, it is not about you go inside there and start promoting stuff, right? It is about how you position yourself as an authority and also to add value in order to get people to follow you in that sense. So in our internet marketing so-called community, the largest group is probably my friends group. Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels group. All right, so Russell is a dear friend and he's doing really great in this internet marketing circle. So what happened is that inside ClickFunnels there are over 200,000 members. Right, so imagine this, right? If I can have my post approved inside ClickFunnels group, right? Guess what? In theory, it will reach 200,000 eyeballs. In theory, right? I'm not saying that it will, but in theory. So do you see how valuable that's going to be? So what I did is that I go to ClickFunnels and I make a post, but I'm not just going to go there and make a post, right? I am going to focus on um, adding value and positioning myself as the expert. So this is the article that I wrote there, right? So there is no sales pitch whatsoever. It is purely focused on adding value. So in this article, let me just break it down a bit about this article, right? So before I share content on this article, I share about my credibility. Why I do that? Because in this group, this is not my group, which means that they do not know me at all on stage. And Russell was giving me the award for being the top 10 JV partner or affiliates when he launched the book. So I was a top 10 among thousands of all of his affiliates. I got top 10, right? And now, when I share this with you, I am not bragging about my success, but I'm teaching you marketing here. Why do I bring this? Why don't I show that I'm top 10 in ClickBank product launch, that I'm a ClickBank super affiliate, I'm a ClickBank platinum partner, and so on, right? Why did I show this? Well, because this is Russell's audience. So I want to share with them credibility that they can associate with. So there's this concept called success by association, which I taught inside Foresight as well. So I'm actually linking that. So if they see Russell as the success figure, as the authority, and they see me as his top affiliate, what is happening? They're actually linking that unconsciously in that sense. So this is why I use this success to increase my credibility instead of my other success story. I mean, I can say that, hey, I'm an international speaker of 12 countries. I can say that I'm a best-selling author of 3 books and so on. But hey, I'm still a nobody in this community, so to speak. Then the rest of this is all content, content. Everything here, it is content, right? And if you see at the end of it, I don't even have follow me, click here, and all kind of message me and stuff like that, because that's just a bad way of communicating in a group, right? You gotta do it in a classy way. A classy way is just focus on adding value to the audience. That's it. Don't do anything else. Don't try to be sneaky and so on. Just focus on giving real value. Now, in the world of social media, in Facebook group, if you do that well, right, people will come to you. If you can produce good content, they will respect you, they will admire you, they will come to you. And you do not need to say, hey, I'm so and so on, and here's my link. This is the link to my website. This is the link to my product. Don't do any of those. Okay. The main objective is to drive traffic and to expose my brand. So I do not know how many people see this article, but hey, it's 200,000 people, right? So chances are, even though if it's 1%, there's still like 2,000 eyeballs that saw this piece of content. You see how effective it is. So this is the first objective, and what happened next? So now I've already created the content. Now it will be a waste if I don't do anything with it after this, right? This is where content repurpose comes into the picture. I took the same piece of content and then I used that as my blog post. So if you notice, don't say another outdated stuff, be at the forefront. And if I go here, point number 1, create your uniqueness by being at the forefront of a new discovery. Do you see that it's actually the same piece of content, but it is just modified a bit to be different in that sense? Do you see that? So I don't have to write everything from scratch. 1, 2, 3 points. 1, 2, 3 points. right? So this is a way how I repurpose the content. So first I use that to build my brand and to get traffic, and now I put it on my own blog. And when I put it on my own blog, it can also get traffic because I have my own blog readers, and it's also good for the search engines. But that's not my primary goal. I mean, I'm not doing this for search engine optimization, right? To me, I would not spend my time on search engine optimization, period. There's more of time. I would just rather focus on content marketing and also media buying, advertising, building my own affiliate program, and all this kind of cool stuff. So once I have this, the next thing what I do, okay, so let me just write it down here. The same piece of content, use it as a blog post, right? So now I use that to increase my own credibility by creating the content. But what I did is that I send email to my list to go and read the entire piece of content, right? And why I do that for? First, I do that to build goodwill, right? So this is like pure article. It's purely goodwill, right? They go here, they read good stuff and so on. And you can see that it's building goodwill. Now, goodwill is very, very important in your business, despite the fact that you don't see it giving you instant gratification. Means that in short, you don't make money immediately. You don't get a sales immediately, and that's fine. When you are building your internet marketing business, you must always know when to play the hunter's game, where you go out there to hunt to get sales, and also to play the farmer game, where you're planting your your veggies, your fruits, so that when it comes to the harvest time, they are ready for you to harvest. Right? Same in this case, I build goodwill so that in the future they may buy my products or decide to join maybe this coaching program. Right? So once we do that, right, we get traffic, we build goodwill, but at the same time there will be some sales mechanism that is happening on my blog, on my website, despite that I'm not promoting it all. So for instance, so when they're on this website here on my blog, there will be some sales mechanism going on. There will be links and so on. For instance, you can see there's a banner here where they can sign up for my internet marketing workshop. And at the bottom here, we also have the opportunity for them to start a chat with me, with my team, so that they can inquire about this coaching program. Like, so there's some sales happening, even though we are just delivering content and we're not like selling anything in that sense. Make sense? Okay. So now what else did I do with the same piece of content? So then I go to Facebook, go to my page, go to my fan page. All right. So you will see that the same piece of blog post, I go to my fan page and then I do a share for that so that it appears on my fan page as well. And now I get to release new piece of content to my own fans. So as you can see, I started off by having the objective to get traffic for my content and to expand on my brand, to create some brand awareness. But at the same time, I use the same piece of content to go into my blog so that I build more goodwill with my own audience, and also I generate some sales from there. And then I take the same piece of content and then I go to my fan page and I share that as well to create goodwill with my fans, not for my blog readers anymore. And at the same time, when I do that, right, it is also driving the traffic from my fan page to my blog. And why I want to drive traffic to my blog, because my blog will have offers and so on, and also it allows them to subscribe into my mailing list. But all of those, like the benefits that I get, are not intended. Like when I send them to my blog, it is not that I'm planning to sell something. It wasn't part of the intention at all. It is like I do that, right? And if there's any sales that comes in, now those are all additional bonuses that I get. All right. So I'm gonna go into to show to you the second piece of content repurpose that I use. So remember that when we use or we produce content, we don't just do it for the sake of doing. We are doing it with a purpose. Like why you produce the piece of content in the first place. You gotta have a strategy for whatever action that you're doing. Don't just do it blindly because everybody else is doing and you too wants to do. So let's finish up this guide so that you can follow the first model. So share on my page for the post. Okay. So that's the first one. This is where I use an article. So the main objective is drive traffic. And what I did is that, let me just put it here, is that post it on other groups, right? And then third, I use the same piece of content as my blog post. And then I also send email to my list about the blog post. And then I will share the blog post on my page.